live from South Florida, the site of an instant classic that took place last night at the Orange Bowl between Penn State and Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish getting it done on a field goal in the closing moments and on their way to the national championship. First time since 2013, and we are going to do it all live here today from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com will help you get there. An unmatched selection, fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, and over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. That was a hell of a football game, first and foremost.
It was a good game.
Damn good game.
It's an incredible game. Come on, VAR.
Yeah. No, I'm going to let you go. Y'all won, so go. I'll let you go. Y'all let you lead off with it.
I thought that was probably one of the best semifinal games, maybe the best semifinal game since, the playoff has started. Typically in the 4-team playoff, the semifinal games have not been close. It's been runaways, and that was a game that first half, you could say it started slow, but I thought that was more of a defensive battle. That was the strength of both teams. Both teams made adjustments. Both teams started scoring more there in the second half. There were some mistakes. Their teams were capitalizing off those mistakes. I thought it was an awesome representation of two blue bloods in college football, but more than anything else, man, the win for Notre Dame has been the epitome of what their season's been. I mean, guys getting hurt, guys stepping up, guys finding ways to get the job done. I mean, they're down to their third left tackle of the season. Tosh Baker came in and was able to kind of get the job done in the end. So credit to Marcus Freeman, credit to that staff, all the players, every single person that's a part of it. I think it's been incredible to watch that team that's got so many guys that are now in backups, that are starters, and now they get the shot to play for a national championship. It truly is remarkable.
The first thought I had, outside of my obvious thoughts, being a Penn Stater, which wouldn't be appropriate for radio, I thought to myself, the college football playoff, whether people want to condemn it or, criticize it intensely and fiercely, I thought last night was one of those stories that says, listen, a season is a season. It develops, it has changes, it has turns, twists, storyline plots that change, and you have a team playing for the national title that lost to Northern Illinois earlier on in the season. So to me, what it says is it's not how you start, it's ultimately what a team does, which in the true nature of competition and learning, because I look at sport as a microcosm of real life and learning valuable lessons as a football player. First and foremost, I was just super proud to be a letterman and an alumni of Penn State, and us be out there on the field with a team that bolstered and had the same feel from their alumni and their lettermen and from their fans in the stands. It was a mirror image of programs. And what really stood out to me was, in looking at how that team played, there was so much guts. And I'd say both teams. There was so much guts involved in that game. And you could tell that neither team wanted to lose that game. Neither team, and you could say that about other games or other teams, but I just felt like it was just so evident in last night's game. And whether people would say, okay, well, this team didn't belong there, that, and the other, like, if you earn your way into the tournament, I don't give a damn from there who you lost to. I don't give a damn about all these other elements that people try to present to the scenario. If you find a way to get into the tournament, anything goes from there. And now you have Notre Dame in the national title game, and it's well-deserved. It was a hard-fought game, And again, I thought both teams played their hearts out. They left it on the field, and I was truly proud to be a part of it, like to have been there. I was like, man, this is a crazy, really, really good game. And I was happy to be there. It just sucks that we were on the other side of it. As a former player and as an alumni, it just sucked to come out on the other side of it. But hats off to Notre Dame. Honestly, like, it couldn't have been a better team for us to have our season end than to lose to a team, like I said, that mirrored the heart of what we represent. And then that's just going out there and laying it on the line and trying to be the best that you can be. And they just happened to be the better team with one field goal at the end of the game. So good for them and good luck to them.
From a South Carolina Gamecock, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, there you go.
Getting it done there.
Yeah.
By the way, the scene was fantastic. At the start of that game, it was so loud.
It was amazing, man.
Like, I was expecting, well, it's neutral site. I know it's a big game. But, you're going to get a split, and, who knows what. That place was loud as hell. And people were – I thought both programs represented themselves not just from a football standpoint, but from a fan base standpoint.
It was pretty dope.
Really, really well.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Notre Dame, them Catholics, they was rocking, man. They were rocking. I didn't think that. I didn't think no church. There weren't no Bible thumpers up in there last night. I'll tell you that. And I realized that and experienced that on my way out to the shuttle back to the hotel too. Yeah.
One thing about like the journey to get to this point is, and I'll pull back the curtain. I'll be very transparent and honest. We talk about things sometimes on the show, and sometimes we hint at things or we mention things, but we're not like fully transparent. This has been a long time in the making, in the sense of, when you go back to how Notre Dame ultimately got here, this was all sparked by the decision of Brian Kelly to choose to go to LSU. Brian Kelly, the head coach at LSU, who back when he left Notre Dame, I think he said sometime in January that, he wanted an environment where they had the resources to win a national championship.
Mm.
That was his words. And just to be fully honest and transparent, that ticked me off, man. Literally January 19th in 2022, and after he said all these words, I called my attorney the next day and I said, you're going to file for a collective. This is what we're going to do. This is how you're going to put it together. I formed a board, started a fundraise, proved the concept. After that, started to bring on more people and grow and expand. And it created a collective that had the resources necessary to support this. So this is back in, all triggered because of Brian Kelly. And there are so many people who stepped up from Notre Dame Nation to help put together the resources necessary to support Marcus Freeman, to support the players, to be able to step up because they were ticked off. I mean, I'm just one of many. Like, when I look at what our collective was able to start and how we were able to help out our football team, it was in large part a call to action because of Brian Kelly. And if you look at where the university is at now and the fact that they're building on to their sports performance center, they've got millions that they've been able to raise through NIL and support their program. Many players, which the quarterback Riley Leonard, probably off the top amongst everyone else, is there in a big reason because of NIL. All those things to me, like, I take great pride in. And I know there's a lot of people who took great pride in watching this team, watching Marcus be able to succeed. And they took that as a sign of disrespect from Brian Kelly when he left. So now that Notre Dame's there, they're playing for a national championship. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, hey, the mission's not done. This is no different than Brian Kelly. BS. This is very different than when Brian Kelly had this football team. The way Marcus has built this thing up, the way Notre Dame has built up over his tenure so far, it feels different because it is different. This is nothing comparable to what Brian Kelly was like when he was the head coach there. They had some great teams. The 2012 team that went to a national championship, with Manti Te'o. You look at some of the teams with Ian Book, guys who were able to get to the playoff. The way this team is playing, the way it's built, the resources that they have, it's on a different level now. So that's one of the things that I kind of take away from a lot of the folks I saw last night and take great pride in so many people that stepped up to the call to action to be a part of it. It's so much, and obviously everything is what happens on the field, but there's a lot of things that happen behind closed doors too. And I think that's one of the things that I'm proud of, when you look at this, because college football has changed in that way. It's not just about the players and coaches. It's how they get there, the roster construction, all the things behind it. So it was very gratifying to see Notre Dame get there to the national championship game in a 12-team expanded playoff before Brian Kelly's LSU team has even made it into the college football playoff.
There was some skeptics about whether or not Marcus Freeman, if he wasn't, with the program, would have gotten the job or would have gotten a real look at it. And so it's got to be pretty gratifying for him as well, too. Because I remember there was a lot of people like, well, he's just kind of he's there, and Brian Kelly put him in a tough spot, so we'll give him the opportunity. And this path that they had to take, I think, is way more difficult than what Brian Kelly did in 2013. To have to go through the gauntlet to win that game last night, it's a tremendous story, man. So good for Notre Dame, and fun environment through and through last night, I thought. Yeah.
I'm ticked off, and
who you ticked off?
I'm going to do the same exact things. Well, I have been doing the same exact things, in terms of assisting and supporting our collective and our program. So just continue to build. I mean, I'm ticked off for greatness. That's all. You get so close, and it gets away from you. But I'm so proud of our guys. They went out there and they competed at such a high level, and just hate to see it come up short. I hate it for Drew. I hate it for the rest of those guys, because people will judge the game and base it upon Drew, throwing the ball. And
right.
I hate it for him.
Can we give credit to the DB? Christian Gray made a
very nice play. Yeah, it was a nice play.
I know we want to look at the result and go, oh, Drew Allen, the interception. It's man, give the young man who made a play on it credit. I mean, for starters, too, Christian Gray's had his ups and downs this season. And for that to be one of the capitalizing moments to help get this team in a position to be able to go to the national championship, again, it speaks to the story of what their season's been. Guys who've been knocked down, the team that, lost and maybe was counted out after the Northern Illinois loss, and yet they just keep fighting, keep standing right back up, man.
I think that's the message that I came away with from the game. It's just resiliency and what sports teach you. You take that into the real world and into real life. Even just getting up and being here this morning. I did not want to be here to do the show yesterday or today, especially yesterday. I was so banged up.
In particular, yesterday, yeah.
But you learn those valuable lessons. You got to show up. You got to be present. You got to be available. You got to put your best foot forward. And, these teams, both of those teams that had their adversities that they've gone through and their challenges that they had to go through and they had to endure. And now one of those teams is playing for a national title. And I couldn't be more prouder of our guys, even in a loss. I couldn't be more prouder of those guys, the way they came together and the way they competed and got into the playoff and were literally two plays away from being in the national title. They had their opportunities. If Nick Singleton doesn't drop the ball going in, that's 7 points instead of 3 points. There were moments in time where, in all honesty, I felt like Penn State could have put their foot on Notre Dame's neck and finished the game off, and Notre Dame wouldn't go anywhere. They came back and tied up the game when I thought that there would have been an opportunity if we got them off the field, on defense, that we could open up a gap in the score. And it didn't happen that way, and the next thing you know, it's tied up, and then next thing you know, it's really a game, and then now it's like coming down to a matter of, series and moments and how much time is left, and talk about understanding situational football and knowing how to use your timeouts and the clock management of everything, and being, is he in range to make the field goal or not? All kinds of different things that just you're paying attention to. I mean, the field goal kicker had not had a great, making percentage, I believe, from where he was at.
Yeah,
What's that?
In the regular season.
In the regular season.
Yeah,
right.
He's been good in the playoffs.
11 of 18 in the regular season or something like that.
It was a low percentage.
Right.
I
it
was
was 50%. And then he's made so
right.
11 of 18 is on the season, I believe. In total, in the playoffs, he's only missed one so far.
So, and that was the biggest kick that to date that he's going to kick. So it was one of those things where,
And I thought he missed it. I thought it was going wide right, and then it hooked back.
Bro.
Oh.
Can we get to, just where the hell you and Lee were?
Yeah,
so
who knows?
I'm coming up from the field after doing my thing with the Orange Bowl. I've said this before, but everyone kept seeing me wear an orange jacket. Like, what the hell are you wearing? I'm like, I'm on the Orange Bowl committee. I chair the Hall of Fame committee. Urban Meyer, Matt Liner, Vince Wilfork are getting in. There's an on-field presentation. And then as I'm walking up with those guys, taking them up to the suite they're in, I get bumped by Jonas, who's with Lee. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing down here? And they're like, we're just hanging out, man. I was like,
just hanging out.
Where are you going? They're like, oh, it's bopping around.
I never see Brady Quinn.
That was the weird thing. Is I never saw. I saw someone who saw you. I think Julius Jones, who I saw, and Jim Molinaro, two of the guys I played with.
And I played with Jim in the league.
Washington. Yeah. So I literally go, where is he? And I popped out, and I was like running down the hallway, and they go, no, bro. They're like, he's gone. He was there earlier. He left and went somewhere else. I was like, okay. Yeah. So I tried, but I'm still trying to figure out how the hell Jonas and Lee got anywhere near the field.
So we walked in.
Lee's still walking around with his credential on, bro.
Yeah, Lee, you don't need it here.
I'm certain that Lee did not take his clothes off. I'm certain that Lee Boy did what Lee Boy did and just got up and, came down and we're doing the show.
Farting like all over us right as the show ended yesterday. Just smelling terrible.
And take that with you.
It smelled like one of those like everything you can throw on a pizza order that like you left in the kitchen like overnight for 2 days and like no one touched it.
I broke wind on the sideline yesterday, Lee, and blamed it on some of the newbies. I turned around, I was like, "Oh gosh, which one of you was it?" And they were like, "You smelled it, you dealt it." I said, "That's such a rookie move." That's why you had braces on, you little scrub, like they were the early enrollees that had their sweats on. And that was really cool for me too, by the way, being on the sideline with Lil LaVar, with Man, and being able to watch a lot of the game with him. I mean, talk about inspiration for the future. He was like, "Dad, I wish I was out there. Like, I know I can make a difference." Like, imagine sitting there hearing your son. Like, that's a crowning moment. Like, he'll do what he's going to do and handle his business the way he does. But just to hear your son that, like, you smacked him on, put his diapers on and all kinds of stuff, and now he's turned into a young man that's sitting there telling you in the biggest game of the season that, I wish I was out there because I could make a difference. It's pretty cool, man. Shouts out to Trisha Lee.
What up,
but
Trisha
Lee? That was a pretty humbling moment too, man. Yeah, it's pretty humbling.
Cool environment. We got plenty of stories on the night. I think.
Yeah, I saw a photo of Lee too. I'm trying to figure that one
out. Dang.
Well, I mean, if you're going to take a nap, why wouldn't it be in the back of an Uber? Leave it a stadium. Makes all the sense in the world.